Welcome to the Barbell Strikes Back. I'm James McDermott, joined by Miguel Porter. Miguel, we are back, and a lot has happened since we last spoke. The biggest of news is that Haley had her baby.
Yep.
Baby Callum Richard Masonette is now in the world, and our team has gotten that much stronger. Haley did a great job all throughout her pregnancy, only stopping her training literally the week before the baby came. So the baby came on Thursday, July 23rd at 3:24 p.m. And the Friday before was Haley's last day in the Barbell Club for a little bit.
Yeah. And I mean, who knows what she did in the couple days before? Like, she just didn't come to the gym physically. Yeah. But I mean, she's got her own setup at home. So who knows?
Maybe we'll see like a few years from now, not now. Kind of like how some of the top weightlifters do after the Olympics, maybe after their career, you get that underground footage of them doing some insane clean and jerk. We'll see a video of Haley, just a quick max out, like a 150 max out on the back squat. And it's like, she could still do that. It's funny. I think it was during her last day, we were doing cleans, and I think she said, or somehow it got brought up, if she could still do 70. And I think she could have. The funny thing is it doesn't leave you that quickly. Mm-hmm. Even when you have time off, there's still like a mental component where you're like, no, I can make this happen if I need to.
Yeah.
And utilize whatever strength I have, even though my strength has gone down, in the absolute most efficient way possible, that I can still do that.
Yeah. Yeah. If anything, I'd give it like 2-3 attempts, only because of like navigating the baby. Yeah. And trying to figure out how exactly to do it. There might be, just figuring that out. But yeah, no, I think it's definitely in the bag for sure.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't find out. That was one of those things where it's like, we just know that this could happen, but we're not going to find out right now.
Yeah.
But in the multiverse, somewhere's out there is a Haley that did do it.
Yeah.
And of course, there's all kinds of other iterations of that if we're talking about a multiverse. But we'll just focus on the one where she does do it. That's how multiverses work. So congratulations to Haley, her whole family, husband Tim. They're about to have a whole new level of excitement in their house, and soon enough we'll be able to meet baby Callum too.
Can't wait.
Yep, can't wait. So congrats to them, and we'll get frequent updates on how things are going. How's everything going with you?
We're getting through it.
Little by little.
Yep. That's all I got. We're making it work.
Hey, August 15th is coming up, and that's when you have your first triathlon. Yep. Do you feel prepared right now? If let's say it was next week or tomorrow, today's a Saturday that we're recording. So let's say it's tomorrow, Sunday. Like, if you had to go, are you ready to go?
No, but I don't think I will be. Like, okay. I don't know if I don't think I'm going to get to the day and go like, yep, I'm ready and fully know that I can do this. I mean, it's different when it's like a race, I guess, as well. Like, if I was just going to the lake, doing the swim, and like, if I did all the distances just on my own, like, I know that I can figure it out and get through it, but it's like, it is a race. There are like cutoffs and, there is safety measures involved where, they won't let me go to a certain place that I know that I probably would go if the goal is just to do it. So I don't know. I can't say for sure, but yeah, we're going to keep going until they pull me out of whatever it is.
See, you just don't want that tap on the shoulder, just that, oh no, which really it's mainly just the swim that would probably be a thing. I mean, I guess if you're going too long on some of the other ones, Have
Right.
they communicated what the cutoffs are?
I don't think so. They haven't really sent too much communication on like rules and all that stuff. But I mean, like I think triathlon just overall has like certain rules. I don't know about this one in particular with like cutoff times, but yeah. But yeah, we'll
Okay.
see.
I think you're going to do well. I think you'll most likely exceed your expectations. You've been putting in a lot of time prepping, and sometimes when you put in the time prepping, it's almost like you're just too close to a project. It's kind of like
Mm,
writing an article or something, and you spend so many hours with all the words. You're too close to it now to see things that either aren't working, or things that need to be corrected, or how things are actually working positively. That's why you kind
yeah.
of need to have someone look at it and edit it and give feedback, or in your case, go out into the actual thing. I'm sure you've done like maybe some stretches where you did a little bit of swimming, biking, and running maybe on the same day or days after one another. But once the whole thing comes together and just the heat of the moment and the crowd and just the cumulative effort that you've put in, I think it's all going to come together in a very
Yeah.
productive way.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know. It's odd like thinking about it just because it's like Liz already to do it next year as well. So I'm like okay with whatever happens this year just because I know that this is like find a base level, and then next year is the year that I'm like, now I want to do this and like not compete in the way of like try to win or anything, but um, really like have a goal time in mind, have whatever. But in order to do that, I have to kind of get this uh, base now. So whether that's getting a specific time, whether that's getting through certain pieces, whether that's, stopping short or whatever it is, this is just the line that I'm looking to beat next year, really.
Do you think that, let's say, if for some reason you decide, you know what, that was great, but I've changed my mind about next year. I'm like, all right, one and done. I've decided that ultimately this isn't my thing, but I'm glad that I tried it. Are there pieces that you would hold on to? Like, okay, but I'm going to keep swimming once a week or twice a week because of just the way it makes me feel. And, it's a good thing for my health. I'll keep bike riding because one, I bought this bike and I should use it, but two, that's also great for your health and fitness. And maybe you're like, you know what? I've done so much running in my life. That doesn't need to be a mainstay. That can go back to being a when I need to or want to, but I'm going to like hold on to biking and swimming a little more. Do you see anything like that happening?
Yeah, I think almost exactly like that. The swimming I actually just really enjoy. And I know there's so much more to it in terms of like, even in the lessons that I'm doing now, like we're adding in skills that are like, nobody does this in real life. This is more like a sport type of deal, like the butterfly. Uh,
Yeah.
Nobody does that swim stroke in real life because it's super inefficient. But it's like it's cool to do. And like flip turns, like I was starting to do flip turns, and again, I don't need to do that. I will never need to do that. It's cool to do. So there's that, and yeah, no, I enjoy those lessons for one, and then I think also just having even I had like a small pool party like last month or a few weeks ago, and just like feeling different in a pool is really interesting. Like
Feeling
jumping in the
safe.
deep end. Yeah, like honestly, that's kind of like when it's more safe, it's like it's more fun. Like
Yeah.
jumping in the deep end and not immediately like when you come up, just immediately think like, where's the wall? And like, oh, I can tread. Like we do this all the time. I can jump in and then I know I can just get up and hang out for a little bit. And I'm not testing myself this time. So like as soon as I feel like I don't want to tread anymore, I'm either going to swim to the shallow end or I'm going to grab a wall. But yeah, the feeling is different for that. And then, yeah, exactly like you said, for the bike, there's too much money. There's too much money involved for me to not continue doing it. And then, yeah, like you said, for running, I think also because of the bike component, like I have an indoor trainer for my bike, and it's like a lower, I mean, it's still expensive, but it's like of this brand, this is like the main brand for it. It's like the least expensive version. But yeah, I mean, it's already super, I've definitely got my money's worth out of it already. With just how simple it is to get a workout in like that late at night. So yeah.
And it's way better than like having an assault bike or like an Airdyne bike.
Yeah.
Like there's just the way the workout hits you, and you could probably put in so many more miles. And I just imagine using that like over the winter when it's like snowing and stuff out. That revolution is so good for your legs. If we're gonna like, you know, let's say if you're focusing a little more on weightlifting, that's still really, really good to do for recovery. And hey, if you see cyclists' quads and legs, boy, they've got huge, strong legs. So I keeping that in the rotations. Just going to probably benefit your weightlifting.
I think that feeling from the bike can transfer more into running than running can transfer it over into biking. I still get aches and pains from the biking, but I mean, when people get injured from running, they typically switch to biking for a little bit less impact. So yeah, I think that's exactly how it would go. Is swimming I'll probably honestly just continue with my lessons at the Y for a while. I mean, I'm still taking like beginner 2, I guess, like level. Like I'm not at the like intermediate endurance classes yet. So it's like, there's still so much that I have to improve in for the swimming. So yeah, I intend to continue.
And
for sure.
There's so many outlets too on each of the components. Like you I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
This is just a rough computer day, but you've probably done a million 5Ks or at least a couple, I imagine, in your time.
Yeah.
But now, like, you could do just a bike race. You have that option. I'm like, hey, let me just go and do this component of it, you know, or a swim race. Like they have them all the time, especially as you get up in years and become a master. You know, you can. And there's so many things within that. I'm like, oh, let me do that distance with that stroke. There's just so much variety. Like I think I showed you way back the menu of events you can do for a swim meet is mind-boggling. So it's just more things you can do to be an active person and pursue lifetime sports and not have to have it be only weightlifting all the time or only CrossFit all the time. And in that sense, you are doing the thing now of really expanding the CrossFit methodology, because like that's kind of like your home base maybe a little bit on like CrossFit and then weightlifting and then running and then now swimming and biking. And you know what's the 100 words of fitness: learn and play new sports. That's a part of it, but it's also the part that's like easiest to skip because you just get chained to the gym. So I think for longevity and just long term and keeping things fresh, it's a huge thing to focus on the components and then put them together for something like a triathlon. But also you have so many options now just to do stuff.
Yeah.
Super cool. And of course, more weightlifting meets and maybe CrossFit events in the future, which right after you're done with your triathlon, are you going to take a week off and then get into states training, or that Monday you're in? How's that working?
I think based on the schedule, I might still have a couple more swim lessons on Monday until that cycle is over. So probably not then. I'm doing a little bit of not traveling, but I got stuff. So maybe like a week off, and then I'll be back to starting weightlifting again.
And you'll be ready.
Yeah, I mean, whatever
You're ready.
it'll be,
You're
it's
ready
what
right
it's
now.
going to be.
You're ready right now. You could snatch 90 today. If we went over to the gym, you snatch 90.
Ideally.
Well, hey, wasn't it? Well, actually, it was like what, a month ago that you snatched 90 recently?
Maybe, yeah. I think I definitely got. I think I was saying this the other day. I think I have 85 and 100 always locked in. So, yeah, that's a good base to start off with, and then I just need a month.
Yeah, sharpen things up. Feel the barbell out again. Remember, where do I like to put my hands? Although for you it changes session to session on all those things. So yeah, I think you'll be ready. And or if anything, it's like could also just have a low pressure states on like, you know what? All right, this is how I'm feeling right now. I'm just go out and make lifts and just kind of see what happens. Like, where the meet's not even sold out yet. I don't even know. I think there might be one 65 guy in there at the moment. I don't know off the top of my head. I think there might be one, and who knows how old they are. So yeah, you'll be ready. Everybody be ready. Everyone's doing great. Are you there?
Yeah. Yep. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think your internet might be choppy. It's either me or you. I don't know. I'm disconnecting from all my stuff just in case. So yeah. Well, the CrossFit Games is going on right now. I've watched bits and pieces of it. I really feel disconnected and totally out of the loop for this games. Just because of this. I mean, one, it was crazy last year. And of course, I didn't get to watch almost any of it last year as well. But this one, it almost doesn't even feel like it's going on right now. I see a lot of clips here and there, but part of what's thrown me off is there is like a paywall for some events. Other events, there's not. And then, of course, there's the time zone difference with them being out in California.
Yeah.
What time it is over here. So, yeah, I don't know. It just kind of feels like it's almost like not even, and it should feel bigger because it's the 20th anniversary. But like, It just kind of feels like a normal weekend to me right now.
Yeah, I think something that's cool that they're doing, which we talked about before, but maybe is also taking down some of the value, is how many events there are. Because like they just finished event 14 already. Day one had, I mean, because I think that's the thing too, of like, all right, it's the CrossFit total, and we're calling each one an event, and they're not 100 points, they're 50 points, but it's still like, all right, we're kind of just flying through these because we're doing events. It's almost like the value of almost doesn't seem, because you have 20, so you're like, there's so many that I can miss these and here and there. And yeah, with them being so spread out across the day, maybe you jump into the live stream and they're not going on right now, but there's so many breaks in between and all of that. And yeah, there's just a lot to cover that might make it seem like, also, I can miss this event, I can miss that event, because I know that they have this many more. But yeah.
And I know from watching the two events I just saw earlier this afternoon that Amy Kringle is in first place.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Amy Kringle. But for the men, I couldn't get a sense of it. I think it might have just been because for the running event, they all had their shirts off. So I'm like, well, now I have no idea.
Yeah, and you're like, who's in the red shorts?
Multiple people have red shorts. And I'm like, so like for her, it was like plainly obvious. I'm like, okay, all right, so she's the person beat right now. Wow, she's kicking butt. For the men, I'm kind of in the dark. I did see that 500-meter sprint event, and I don't know if you saw it, but it was kind of weird to me. One, I thought Jeff Adler was going to like crush that event. I was super surprised that he took like fourth in it, and I'm like, he's like the running guy. Like I thought he was going to be a shoo-in to win that. But Ricky Gerard, which makes me happy, won it. But Guy was right behind him. I'm like, how is Guy beating Jeff on this running event?
I mean, I think
I'm concerned about Jeff Adler. That's what I'm saying here. I'm concerned.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of things going on, honestly, that I'm like, this is interesting to see. But I think the thing about 550 meters, and they've always done like weird distances like this. I feel like they've done a 500 meter before. But I think the thing about that is that it's a sprint. And I feel like Jeff Adler's more like aerobic capacity. So maybe like once you go like 800 and more is really where he would kind of take off. But when it's just all out, it's power. Yeah. And I would say in like, because there was a turnaround, right? So
yeah,
I would even
say go around a bunch of big pylons twice. Like they had to run down, loop around it, run back to the start, loop around another one, and then loop around it one more time, I think, and then sprint to the final or something like that.
Because I would even say like that one, it's power. So I think that's where Guy comes in, where it's just like with the way that he lifts, you can tell that like a sprinter is somewhere in there. And then also just quickness. And I think, honestly, even I would say like Ricky Garard's background on the bike, on like mountain biking and things like that, might also help with like those turns and like knowing how close you can get to a pylon and like really maneuvering yourself in an effective way. But yeah, it has been interesting to watch.
I saw Ricky. He was, as him and Guy were sprinting to the end, which it's funny, like the men and the women, they are sprinting, but when you're watching it on the screen, it doesn't look like it. Like they're even, because like they already don't make it look like they're moving that hard. Like if it was me, you'd see my arms like really working and stuff like that, and it just doesn't look like they're sprinting, but they are. And he kept like right at the end, like looking at Guy. And then he said in the interview when he's like, yeah, when I saw that was as fast as he could go, then I knew I had it. And like, so it's like, that's just like kind of like, how do you have time to think about that and like even look over and not trip? And he did that thing where he looked over a couple times. Then when he saw he was going to win, he lifted up his arms like as he was crossing the finish line. And like for me, I've seen so many videos of where that's gone wrong that I was like, oh no, Ricky, don't celebrate too early. But his situation worked out for him.
But it's funny, it is a sprint as well, and I think that's almost the right thing to do in this, where it's like, I mean, as someone who has pulled their hamstring multiple times, like there is a gear where he's probably going like, I could go faster, but do I need to?
Yeah.
And can I keep it right here and still win it? Because I mean, where he is also in the standings, it's like the men's race is obviously way tighter than the women's right now. Of like, where's the risk and where do I do it? And if I don't need to right now, then I won't. But yeah, that like looking over thing is always risky.
Yeah. On that same heat, Colton Mertens was in it. And one, I found it funny because as they're panning the line with the camera, showing all the athletes shoulder to shoulder, I know he's like our height. He's small, but he's also way wider and thicker than we are. Yeah. But like, this is the first time I've seen him lined up like that with a bunch of dudes. And yeah, wow, he is super tiny. So that just kind of helps me insert myself in there. I'm like, oh, that's how I would look. Like not as muscular or jacked, but like I would just be this small thing right there in the middle of all these giants. And then I just thought it was funny is that as they're all sprinting, he's sprinting too,
Yeah.
but he was so far behind the pack. And it reminded me there's several scenes in several movies where like a big chase thing is going on back and forth on the screen. And there's like one like chubby little guy, like,
Yeah.
like slowly entering the camera by himself. Someone's going to make that meme. Like they have to, you know, Andrew Hiller probably knows a movie scene that has something like that and he'll do it. But I was just like, yeah, that makes sense where he's at. And he just looks so like not like this is where he should be living, right? Like it's like he looks like a pale weightlifter out there. Like, we need to get you a platform.
Yeah, it's been interesting to watch. One, it's like I feel like they rarely go together where it's like, wow, there's a tight race on the women's side. There's also a tight race on the men's side. It's like one side is always somebody's running away with it and one side isn't. Also, I think with the 20 events, this is the most beat up I've ever seen the women's side ever.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone has withdrawn, but the ankle injuries that I've seen on the women's side, like, and it's all ankles too. There's like 5 or 6 athletes where you physically see them limping, either from before the games or currently.
That trail run messed a lot of people up. And it was, I believe it was the downhill that got a lot of people.
Yeah.
That should be, so this is like one of those things where like in the future, like every games kind of changes the landscape of training a little bit. This would be a perfect example of like, okay, how much time are we all spending, you know, and every team and camp and coach and athlete has to think about this individually. But coming off of that, if I had athletes out there, whether they had an issue or not, I'd be like, we should probably be doing more ankle stability type stuff and like beefing up like not even just ankles, but like wrist. What are we doing for here? Like specifically to like make this and like those little points that you don't think about often. Because there's, of course, only so much time in training and so many things you have to focus on. But there's definitely ways to incorporate that, you know, where it would be a cumulative effect and good for you. So I wonder if the field will walk away from this games with that as like on the to-do list. And of course, there's probably going to be many other things that pop up that we haven't even seen yet. But that was one thing that stuck out to me. Like Lydia Fish, I think she was one that rolled her ankle. And I was surprised she didn't withdraw. She's still going. And
I was looking at that and I was questioning. I always question when they do this, when they're like, we're starting the games early and then they take a day off for the individuals.
Yeah.
I honestly think if they didn't take Thursday off for individuals, we would have had
withdrawals.
At least, like, I think, like, again, like 5 women withdrawing because, I mean, you get that one extra day, thankfully, and it's the, you know, you get the ceremony and all of that. But yeah, that definitely saved a lot of people, I can tell, having that day off, because that first day was just brutal of like, one, the trail run, then you're nearly frying your central nervous system doing the CrossFit total. Then you have hard metcons, then you're swimming. And especially all those things combined, I mean, you could see by the swim, I saw a clip from the swim of like, people are beat up already and they're just trying to make it through. So that day off definitely helped, but yeah, you definitely see people fighting through.
And even just the way they started the games, that first event, the 2020 or 2007 hopper, 1K row, 5 rounds, 25 pull-ups, 7 push jerks. What a way to start the games. Like, I do think it's cool that the 20th anniversary games essentially starts with the first games. You're doing a whole games for the first 3 events. When they were putting out those events, when they put out, I think, the trail run second, I was like, we're going to do the first games. Like, I was like, that it would almost be disappointing if we didn't. But that volume of pull-ups is a lot to carry with you into the whole rest of this thing, and then have to do the trail run and then have to do the total. And then that same day they did the track race, grass track race, 20 laps on a track. Was that running? What was that?
On the bike.
Okay, that was on a bike.
Yeah, that was interesting to watch.
Similar to the
well.
2020 games? Is that kind of like, like...
No, so that was like straight line. This was like just straight up laps.
Oh, okay.
And it was more of like a cycling race. Like everyone was following each other, and it was interesting to watch because athletes had to work together. There were 20 laps. So a lot of them kind of did it in teams of like, all right, 3 or 4 athletes are in a row. One sprints ahead and kind of takes in the wind. The rest of you kind of streamline so you can take it easy. And then if you cycle it correctly, like how they do in like Peloton, like the French something.
The Tour de France?
Yes. Yeah, like in that, like they have teams and they have someone, that's how you do it, Yeah. You want to keep on going fast, but one person can't be out alone because then all the wind is hitting you. So you want to be able to kind of duck behind someone, let them take in all the wind. They're pedaling as fast as they can. As soon as they start to slow down, you switch spots. So it's interesting to watch an individual competition, but people knowing like the women's last heat, they were behind pace like crazy because they were kind of going on their own. And then Amy Kringle, you could see her like talking to the people of like, well, we have to go faster. Even if you don't want to like team up with me, we're still going to like our time. All of our times are going to be behind that first heat.
Were the men more collaborative?
To get together. Yeah, like you had to be because their lap times were just too slow. If you go on your own, like there's no way.
Yeah.
The men's heats were similar, where at first it was like people are trying to go on their own, and you see that you literally can't. But it was interesting to watch.
Did Ricky win that event? Because that's one of his things, like with the bike.
No, but he was in that first group of them. Okay. But again, because of like the way that everyone's kind of working together, it's really like that last lap is a sprint, and then you hope that it works out. But everyone kind of had to be together until lap 20 when they started it.
Well, it's really cool because not only is it's an individual event, but I don't know if I've ever seen another CrossFit Games event where you almost have to collaborate like that with the people you're trying to beat. And what a great test of athlete IQ. Like, all right, I'm going to do this now, and then I'm going to break off here. And you don't have that much time to think about it. Like you've got, it's essentially 20 rounds, 20 laps, if you're counting a lap around or whatever. I don't know how long it was, but that's pretty cool. I'd like to see that one. And then after
they
that,
try to do it in the trail run. You saw like some training teams kind of going together, but eventually, at the end, you kind of have to go like, all right, I'm leaving you.
Time to break away.
Yeah.
Well, and that's cool that right after it, you have the swim event. So it's like there's a mini triathlon right there, right there, like, and just the components, like. So you've been cycling a lot. Was there anything that has your training cycling now and becoming a better biker? Did you notice things during that bike event where you're like, oh, he's in the wrong gear, or his posture's off, or they should do this, or this is how I would approach this lap or turn?
I would say only really in relation to the kind of working together. Their bikes were different. They weren't road bikes, and they were like on grass and sand. So it's a little bit more forgiving in terms of your position doesn't need to be as aggressive, and they're doing turns and a lot. It's a little bit different, but I think only knowing like more cycling lore and like the way that it works that was really it, of like, oh, I see how you want to be all together and kind of clumped up to avoid getting that wind resistance the entire time.
Well, and for these first 6 events, you can really, just as the observer, insert yourself into this. Like, all right, you could do that first hopper event. You might have done it. We've done it at the gym many times. You can go for a trail run if you want for 7,200 meters. You've done the total before, and so many different totals. And now you've been on the bike, and then now you're actually you're swimming a lot more now than you ever were before. And of course, you've done burpees, which that was the second one, the swim standard. 200-meter swim, and then it goes down by 50. So 150, 150, and then 40, 30, 20, 10 on the burpees, which I did get to see what that looked like. They had like the grass turf thing on the ends of the pool where it's red and green. I thought that was cool. Yeah, color code stuff. I'm all about color code and, and just making it painfully obvious where you got to be. I thought that was a cool event, burpees and swimming.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd want to do both of those things together, but
yeah, no, I think you can't get too overly complicated when you're going into the water as well, because that, and I mean, like, again, these are CrossFitters. Like, some of them are like, they're probably all beyond my level of swimming, but I mean, they're not like swimmers unless they were former swimmers. And it's like, Lucy Campbell, who won the event on the women's side, like, very clearly is. I think she's always won every swim event that she's done at the games now. And yeah, so I mean, you can't go too crazy. You can't do things that like maybe hands will slip, because you don't want that level of, danger there. But yeah, you could definitely see also that people were like starting to sink a little bit.
Well, like, look at a guy like Jason Hopper, like he's and Colton, like some of those guys like have just big muscle mass. So it's like, and you're going to get winded and out of breath on the burpees. And we both know now what that feels like to be in the water and you can't breathe, or you're trying to breathe, and how the water would punish you. So I think what a cool and interesting pairing, a very devilish pairing. And for someone like Colton too, it's going to crush the burpees, but he's not like a James Sprague who's just long and thin. And if James is a good swimmer, he's going to literally glide and cut through the water, versus like, I know from being like just short and stocky, and it's like, we're not covering any ground, but we're working really hard right now to get there. And just also how that feeling sucks when you like just make it to the middle of the lane and you're like, God, I had to work so hard to get here.
Right.
Like, so I know the short person, thing of it too. And every now and then when I'm at the pool, though, there will be someone who's just really good in the next lane. And like, I'll be halfway when they're on their return. And I'm like, we just got to get back before they and then they end up lapping you, and you're like, it's very demoralizing, because it's like they just, I don't know. It's like they're floating or gliding past you. And I feel like I'm just like, I'm a rusty rowboat just deep in the water trying to just trudging through, and they're a little speedboat just cutting through it. And I'm like, I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
So that's cool. I would like to watch both of those events like in full whenever they come on to YouTube.
I think the Flow Elite's YouTube page does have that swim event like post stream. I think they just have
Do I got to pay for it?
Yeah, I think I did see that yesterday. I haven't looked at it yet, but I believe it's there.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna wait for it to be free.
Yeah.
And then I'll watch it. So that was Wednesday. And so 1, 2. So it almost makes it seem like Wednesday was worse by saying 7 events, when really it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 workouts, but like, because it's so like, it just makes, but the unfortunate part about this games is I'm not really in tune with what's going on, like with the constant live stream, but the things that are coming in are like all the negative complaining clips of people like pointing out things that they're mad about for whatever at the games, or like when I do get to watch a stream in the comments, I love how everyone in the comments is a camera expert. Like, isn't that just amazing how
as soon as the live stream comes off, I immediately click the comments off because I don't want to see that at all, ever.
Boy, and the CrossFit haters, I love how it'll be some guy who's like Coach Bill Fletcher, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, community, yet they put it behind a paywall. And it's like, dude, can you just imagine if could you just imagine, because I'm your coach. Can you just imagine seeing me make comments like that in some random live stream? Could you just imagine? I wouldn't want my coach doing stuff like that. Because, what are you talking about, dude? If you were in charge of the CrossFit Games and you did it the way you wanted to, there's a reason why they have to do certain things. There's always a reason, right? And they're not the most fun reasons. But these people that complain have never run an event, or if they've run an event, never run a big scale event with a lot of moving pieces. And if they had their hands on this to run it the way they want to, whatever he means by community, guarantee to you a year later, he'd be having to come with his hands open to the community. We need funds, or have to change things, because that's when he'll realize it doesn't work the way your imaginary scenario thinks. It's just amazing, some of these things.
My thing has always been, even since I was young, a kid, when we would go to the library and they would tell us about the internet and things. I don't think I've ever cared enough about something to comment on a video in a negative way.
Yeah.
Because what do you think that's gonna do? Especially, it's one thing if it's an individual. To a company, you're gonna be you guys are making us pay for stuff. One, they're not gonna see it. Two, I'm not sure what you want to get out of that other than making yourself, maybe it's cathartic, let it go out into the world instead of just thinking it in your head. But I don't know. It's always odd for me to watch.
I think it's a cry for help. I think you need friends. I think you need a gym where there's a community of people to talk to or something.
Yeah.
There was one guy that posted, because I just see them scrolling up and down. And he's like, this CrossFit thing's still going on. Every one of them closed down in my area. So I thought that was a wrap on this whole thing. And it's just the way people talk. Do you mean the one garage gym that happened to be in your area? All right, first, how many CrossFit gyms were in your area? And then they all closed? I feel like there's always too much embellishment on a lot of those things, because they also want to take a dig at CrossFit. And it's I'm sorry that you were hurt in some way by something that happened at the gym. The coach told you to take weight off that bar because you're about to blow off your back, and now you have a vendetta against CrossFit, because that's who I think it always is, because we've met people like that in gyms before, and it's yeah, who's more likely to be in those comments being just all angry and stuff? It's the person that doesn't want any feedback or accountability at all on what they do in other things, but they'll give it to other people online anonymously.
Yeah, I don't know. But
yeah,
thankfully for me, I haven't seen anything negative, because I think the only CrossFit channel, I guess now it's it'll just show up in your feed if you're checking it out, but it's really Morning Chalk Up, and there's another one that's been showing up where they're just showing their daily, after this event, here's the top 10. Those are the only things that I've seen, and I haven't even been clicking on comments either, because I'm just oh, okay, I'll go back and watch or something like that.
You already know what's happening in those comments.
Yeah. I mean, there's some people where I didn't even look because I've heard the stories. Alexis Raptis is one of those prior to the games. She's had issues with the heat and stuff. And then I think during the trail run, she got heat exhaustion. And I was I don't even want to look at what they're saying, because people were calling it and saying that she shouldn't do it because it's going to be in California and she's going to be hot. And I'm her comments must just be insanely annoying right now.
Yeah. It's all people that have no idea. I hate it. I absolutely hate it.
Or like you are nowhere even near skill level that she is also. And it's so interesting.
Not only they're not the skill level, you don't have the capacity to push the way she is on anything,
Yeah.
and and so you can't understand what she's feeling, and like she's trying to win, and like all her hopes and dreams are in this, and just there's so much stuff going on. And I did see like a comment about her. I don't think on a post for her, but something else, and someone made a comment on like, oh, she's the next Sarah Sigmund's daughter or something like that. Like, like, I don't even know if that makes sense. Like, they're two completely different people and had completely different things going on. So it's all crazy. Yeah, I do follow the Barbell Spin. And then there's the CrossFit Network that's been posting little things. And then, of course, they're fighting or with each other too. So it's like,
oh, I bet.
It's all tough.
Yeah.
How can you have? I don't understand YouTube. All right, our channel's not fighting with anyone yet. We don't have any YouTube beef.
Good.
Event 8, climbing the snail. So they got the snail and rope climbs and toes the bar. Then they had to do the throw. It is cool. The throw is back. Other sports have a throw. It's kind of a staple in strongman. And that's what that bag looked like. So I think it was. I like it. I'd like to see the full event. But what did you think about the snail and the throw?
The snail event is cool. I like it. I think that was the one where I saw people hurt the most. Meaning like when I said like a bunch of the women's field and like their ankles, like I think that one like revealed it the most. But the snail is cool because it's like you can see that there is some technique to it, or like you can tell when someone has played football and has like hit those pylons and like had to like push them down the field. You can kind of see that in there, but also it's not fully translatable because again, this is a cylinder now and the weight is just shifting as you're teetering it. So that's always fun to see.
I wonder, I don't know if you've looked into it. Is it just one weight? Like it's just a hay bale, it's just all like the weight is all evenly distributed, or is it like empty or squishy and there's a lot of sand at the bottom that weighs a certain amount and you have to push? Like I wonder what it feels like to push it and what it's made out of.
Yeah, I can't remember. I feel like I've heard. I can't remember which one it is. I feel like if it's more evenly weighted, that might be harder because you can kind of tip it to a certain point and let the sand kind of help you if it isn't full. But I think if it's even, like you have to, I think that's what it is. I think it's all even. So you have to continuously push it or else it'll just stay. Yeah.
Boy, I bet it lights up. I mean, of course it's going to light up your legs a little bit, but I bet your triceps and delts, you feel that. And for some reason, I want to say your core too. Just like right here. It was a snail push, whatever the distance was, legless rope climbs, 3 and 2 reps, 30 toes to bar, then regular rope climbs, 5 and 4, and then a snail push. I think it's a cool event, and we got to last week.
Wearing weight vests.
Oh, they were? Okay.
Yeah.
Even more. And we got to do legless rope climb combo in class last week. So that was like a little bit of a preview. And that was a fun class to teach, by the way. Like, I didn't want people to do just 2 rope climbs. It's like we're gonna have like, so what I had people do was a rope row from not the get up position, but like leaning back so that your shin is perpendicular to the floor, and then you make an L with your body and you keep your glutes up, kind of like you would on the rings for a transition, and just do rows that way. and then do a rope climb or a get up. That way it's two separate things.
Mm.
And boy, people's arms are blowing up the way they would if let's say you were doing it with legless rope climbs and then a regular rope climb. And it made the need to lock in your feet for the regular rope climb that much more. Versus if you were just doing 2 rope climbs, you would just, maybe you wouldn't have to focus on that as much. It's just a regular rope climb. But so that was a really fun workout. Then the throw. People might complain about the throw. I haven't seen what's going on out there, but it is a part of the CrossFit methodology. So they've done it before with the softball throw, and that was the early days. I think that was 2010. But now I think this is a better throw, a nice heavy weighted throw. And I don't know what the rules are. I saw people throwing it different ways. So I don't. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. I see right here. You had to throw right backwards.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's cool. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, and I think it's a lot of times in, I think, weightlifting and things like CrossFit, there isn't enough turning of your body in like these weird ways. So like even the back throw, it's like that is more in line of what we do. But I saw like stills of people, and you can tell who like, yeah, that's going to be way better. Like you do have to, your body has to hit that like a Superman position. Like you do have to arc fully, like feet and arms back here, and then the body is here in order to get the angle that you need.
Looks like the extent, like an exaggerated finish on a snatch.
Yeah, that, and then obviously the sides are just, we don't rotate like that too often. And yeah, I think that's a good thing to kind of show that it is needed. And it is, again, it's functional also. Like you will have to turn your body that way in real life.
You can do this in class. Like let's say tomorrow you're like, all right, I want to spend 5-6 minutes, and you get a bunch of wall balls out and everyone takes a turn throwing from the right, the left, and then over, and you go from like 6 pounds up to 30 pounds. Like you can do this in class, and it would be a cool experience. Just gotta make sure you don't bust up the TVs or anything, but like it's repeatable in a certain way. And I like that when the CrossFit Games seems like you can't do the snail. Like, I mean, you can make a variation of it, but nothing's going to repeat the snail. Like we could push a prowler and then do rope climbs and toes to bars. But I think this is a cool one where it's something we don't do all the time, but it is like super functional. And you could do stuff like this on a heavy snatch day or clean day to like get things going for your power output. Or in Barbell Club, we've done accessory where we've done like lateral passes both ways against the wall, so it bounces back at you. So it's cool to see this literally on the biggest stage. And I won't be surprised if we start seeing more stuff like this popping up in people's programming. Because for as much as people complain about the CrossFit Games, it still sets the standard, So like within the next year, we're going to see stuff like that popping up on CAP once in a while, and then other people's programming. That's my prediction. It's going to become more of a thing now.
Yeah, I think so.
Then we had 4 rounds, 60-meter run. Wow, they do like these weird numbers this year. And then a 10 hang squat cleans. That's just a basic CrossFit workout.
Right. Yeah.
Perfect. Like it. Handstand sprint through the course. That was a tricky one. I did see a lot of people struggled with one of the moves they had to do on the P bars there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is an interesting one, I think, when it comes to differences between men's field and women's field. Obviously, it's like they typically change weights, or I think with that one with the snail, they had the same weight of the snail, just a shorter push. And I think they had one less legless rope climb. But the handstand event, I found it interesting because it's one of the more well-known things is the pressing power difference between men and women. I think you could see that. I think that's where that showed in that last piece of it, that press to walk on the parallel bars. Just because even, who was it? Guy, when he did it, it wasn't a great like maneuver, but he was able to kind of let himself sink into like a really deep deficit, almost like hit a tripod, how we would when we're like building up to handstands, and then press from there and then go. But you could tell a lot of the women's field isn't able to do that. So they kind of have to do their turnover a little bit less tight so that they can catch it a little bit higher. But it makes the overall movement a little bit more difficult. And it's interesting too, because it's, for some reason, I can't handstand walk. I feel like the actual like press to that part, I was like I could do that, which I can't.
Hey, we could find out.
Yeah. But yeah, watching
press the handstand is something. It's in the 100 words, and it comes up in programming like once in a blue moon. But you could literally go like a year without ever seeing it.
Right.
But it is one of those. It's another skill that like we should be doing more of it in CrossFit. It's just that regular handstand walking and handstand push-ups kind of take the limelight. But if you did work on your press to handstand, it would automatically help you get those skills, and it could close the gap on why you can't get those skills. So it's just kind of funny how I think it's one of those exercises that it's on the fringe of being like a competition exercise or a, like something like that, versus like just like a training only exercise or a drill. Yeah, it's kind of like like it's like the same way you wouldn't do like band pull aparts in a competition or something like that. It's just kind of like in the drill category, but it could also put one foot into being a main star movement. It's interesting.
And I think the difference with the bars is that, at least from what I saw, like if you're just doing the press on the floor, that's where people kind of have their legs out wide and then they bring them together as they're rotating. But I think this one, it kind of helped to, because one, you're off the ground. So I think it was driving your knees in and kind of rotating that way kind of helped a little bit more. And then again, like it depends on your pressing power. If you can kind of just sit at the bottom, it definitely helped you a little bit more than like the people who had to like try to press as they were rotating. But
I feel like that'd be an advantage. That one was interesting. If you're allowed to like go down and rest your shoulders on the bar, I feel like that'd be an advantage to like just kind of like launch off it. Was that allowed?
I don't think like resting on it was, but I mean, that's kind of the position of like, if they're doing deficit, again, like deficit handstand push-ups, you can go in kind of deep enough that I feel like you can stabilize yourself. Again, like putting your knees to your elbows and then using that as like, okay, let me get my bearings. And then the stricter the press, the probably more stable it is, the harder it is. But if you're able to do that, then yeah.
I do like with the handstand, the throw, the bike, the trail run, and even the CrossFit Total. There are all these. There seems to be a lot of events that you actually can compare the women and the men, and there might be some women that have their scores mixed in with the men. I think that's kind of cool. I don't know if we've had that before with so many things where it's literally taking into account all the competitors.
Right.
I do like that. And then the last event for Friday, boy, I can't believe it's Saturday already, but for Friday was the hopper workout, and they pulled out snatches and toes to bar, which I believe it was Annie Sakamoto's daughter that did that, and she was the one that did it all the way back in 2007. So I like things like that when it's like, history and comes full circle. And then they let Claire Toomey, Matt Frazier, and I'm blanking on his name now, Jason Khalipa, all put together some sort of a workout with those two movements, and then the fans got to vote on it. And it took me forever yesterday just to find what the three options were. I don't know if like my Instagram did an update, or there's also so many posts on there, I just couldn't find it. But I thought the different variations were interesting. Did they pick the one that you thought would be the best or would have voted for?
No, like you, I didn't even see the options. All I would tune into the broadcast, and they were like, and then Tia's picking the whatever workout it is, and so I didn't know until I watched the event. But yeah, I knew that the movements were going to be that. But yeah, no, interesting. Unbroken. I think that's maybe the first time I've seen it in competition where they go, this has to be unbroken. So that was interesting to see. I think it was light enough that it didn't really mess too many people up, but you could tell that, there's a little bit more care in it because of that element.
Yeah, I liked that one. I think out of the three, that was the one that I was most interested in seeing. I'll just tell you the other two. Option one was 20 toes to bar, 30 snatches at 135.95, 20 more toes to bar, 6-minute time cap. And they all have a 6-minute time cap. So obviously CrossFit was like, you need to keep it within this time frame, Yeah. So that was option one. And the speculation was, I don't know who programmed each of these, but the speculation was that was a Matt Frazier workout. The second one was 2 rounds for time of 20 dumbbell power snatches at 70-50 and 26 toes to bar. Then you go into 20 squat snatches with a barbell at 125.90 with a short bar. That one also is kind of cool. I do like that one. And then the final one, which I think it was Tia's workout. So that could be either Matt or Jason Khalipa's workout, that second one. I do like that 70-pound dumbbell, like the really heavy dumbbell.
Yeah.
For 40 reps, that's good. And then the one that got picked was 3 rounds for time, 21 toes to bar, 7 unbroken power snatches, 7 unbroken hang snatches, and then 7 unbroken squat snatches. So I do like that 95-65. You don't have to do all 21 snatches unbroken. I didn't get to see the event, so I don't know if anyone tried or if they just dropped it after every 7. They dropped it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think like
that was Matt Frazier's workout. That's a workout where he's like, I would have done it unbroken. I would have done all 21 unbroken.
I don't think so. The way that I saw, especially because of the toes to bar, no, I don't think anybody could have, even if you, and also I don't think that you would make up a significant amount of time.
Yeah.
Enough
I just have
to
faith
do
in
it.
the goat. Just have faith in the goat.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, and also this was their second time that day doing toes to bar. They had to do a bunch of them in the middle of that snail and rope climb workout.
Yeah.
Which that was one of the things on like, hey, this is going to happen most likely. I think toes to bar was the most ideal one to be a repeat, like not more pull-ups or rope climbs or something. So that was good. And I think if something else like burpees came up, it's not as exciting. Like this is a grippy workout. So I think this was the most perfect combo. Do you I don't know, there couldn't have been any trickery here, right? To make it come out to that. Like this was just legit, like just what came out of the hopper, and the hopper gave us something good.
Mm-hmm. I think I think it's legit. I mean, I'm sure that they didn't put anything crazy in there to begin with, but I think toes to bar is also the most, especially at that level, you can do them different ways. So like in this workout, you could see that majority of everyone was doing the long legged kip, like the really tight, no driving my knees up first, because this one wasn't fully about speed. It was like save your grip. And when you're driving your knees up, like your body also goes back, which means you're using more of that grip to stay on. And you could tell that everyone was just kind of trying to be as relaxed as possible and just letting themselves kind of cycle through them.
Smart, kind of hang low and just pendulum swing back and
forth.
So,
I mean, I don't think there aren't many other movements gymnastic wise that I think that you can kind of get multiple times and do them differently from time to time.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's good they didn't put like, or try to like make it too different where they're like, okay, we had toes to bar in the other workout, make this one strict toes to bar. So it's different, quote, different, I'm glad they didn't do that. And of course, like that also now changes the time frame on the workout. It's going to maybe take a little longer. I don't know what the best times were for this. I did see someone posted on social media, and I don't know if this is a good thing. So tell me your opinion on this. I kind of don't like it. People are now getting into like this thing of where they'll freeze frame a video, and let's say Dave Castro's holding on to a pad of paper, and they'll like zoom in on it, and then they're like, oh look, they were thinking about making it 115 pounds, but then they changed it to 95. I don't know if I like that on like this, like the spy game, that like is some people are doing. How do you feel about that?
No, I've never.
Do we need content that bad? Like, is it like, what's going on here?
Yeah. Of like, what do you gain from that? It's almost like, I hate when a movie is coming out and someone will post online like, oh, they were filming down the street. Here's some set photos that people took from, and I'm like, I don't want to see that. Yeah. Like, I'm already.
Well, because it's the same people that are going to complain at a later date about the magic's gone. Remember back in 2015 when it was all magical? You're ruining the magic. Stop leaking stuff. Stop doing all this behind, like behind the scenes is cool to see, but not like that. Like, why are you zooming in on the dude stuff?
Exactly.
That's what are you gonna do next? Try to like listen in on his phone calls and be like, he said this in a private conversation. To me, the notepad is like a private thing. So you're doing that. Let's say if he set it down somewhere and you were walking by, it'd be a real dick move to pull out your phone, take a quick snapshot, and walk off. Right? So it's like, how is it any different doing that while it's in his hand? Like those are his notes, not for you to read. So I just thought that was weird. And it's like, you are contributing to ruining the magic so you can put out another social media post, a throwaway Instagram post that a bunch of angry people in the comments are gonna be like, huh, they should have gone the heavier way. Like it's so dumb, and you're contributing to the dumbness, yet you will complain about the dumbness.
Yeah, no, I think that specifically is a bigger issue with like just phones and technologies and surveillance these days of like, you don't need to be all up in stuff. It feels icky.
Yeah.
Like if it needed to be shown to you, it would, or it wouldn't. But like, I feel like the work that people put in to these things is just so interesting to like zoom in or like put it on Twitter and be like, hey Grok, like, can you tell me what this says, or like enhance or whatever? But it's super interesting, and I just don't think that the effort there is necessary to like.
Who's it helping? Like, so like again, these are all people that claim they want to see growth, they want things to change. So like all the things you've heard, and it's like, what about this is contributing to the things that you say that you want and what you want to see in the space, other than I know like it's just like a content game, like, but I don't know if you need to play the game like that. Like and who cares if he had written down 115, or let's say if Tia had written down 115 and then CrossFit decided, no, let's make it a little lighter so we can go faster.
Right.
What does it matter? Who cares? And I don't know, is that extra 20 pounds going to make a difference at all in how the event went? Maybe it does, but I don't know. It's silly. And then you have the events for today. You have the 500-meter run, which I thought was cool. They're right out there on Barack Obama Boulevard. And while it's cool to see lanes for sprints like that, and like, or maybe a side view so you can like see who's in front. Because like when they're all like jam packed, the announcers would be like, "Oh, such and such is in the lead," and I'm like, "Wait a minute! It looks like that person next to them is in the lead." But that's just our perspective. I bet being there in person, it was really cool to see them just all out sprint up and down that thing.
And I like that it is everyone just go. And you have to decide as you're coming up to the turn. You don't have, and that's the thing too, you don't have to push anyone to get into a better position, but it is honestly, you're making a decision of like, am I going to slow up before they do? It's similar to like, what is it? There's like a almost, I think it's of like a famous-ish quote about like, I think it's Formula One drivers where they're like coming up on a turn and one person breaks and the other one doesn't. And the guy goes like, "Oh, I know he would break. He has a wife and family at home."
Yeah.
Because it's like, you have to know, all right, we're getting to that pylon. Am I going to do a slow step because me and this person are shoulder to shoulder and I don't want to collide with them as we go in? Or do I not think that I can get by them in this time? And yeah, you could kind of see that as people were kind of running of like, who's trying to get into the tightest and make their run the shortest, and who's kind of letting other people go and they're just like, I'll take the long way.
It's that, do you have that killer instinct to win? Like there's like other sports, like think about football, like, oh boy, like they want to win. They're going to hit you. They're not worried about your family and whatnot. If anything, they're like, I hope he doesn't get back up. I'm gonna try to hit him hard enough that he ain't gonna get back up.
Right.
And then you hear like the comments of like, I hit him so hard, his grandkids are gonna feel that one, or things like that. And so it's just a different mentality that, like, I think we've talked about this before on like how nice CrossFit competitors can be or are sometimes. And it's like, man, you just want to see that one guy or lady that's just like, I'm winning. I hope you know that I'm winning. I'm going to win. And if that means going through you, I'm going to do it, because we're here for money and everything else.
If you saw the teams do it.
I did.
I think they had a little bit longer. I think it was 550 per person for some reason. I feel like it was that.
With Patan.
Yeah. And that was interesting. I think also because you can just tell some people are not runners in their form, or even like there are track events where maybe it's like a 4x4. In a 4x1, everyone stays in their same lane because it evens out. But in a 4x4, you start in your lane, and then after a certain point, everyone kind of files in. So then the handoff point becomes whoever's coming first, get into the inside.
Yeah.
So maybe you started in lane 1, but your person isn't coming until 5 people down. Other teams will push you out of the way so that they can get the tighter inside. And you could see that some teams I saw one team where they handed it off and the next woman to grab it was all the way at the end. And then she almost stayed, like the inside is here, and she almost stayed here the entire time that she ran, and like almost ran like she was in a lane. And I was like, you're adding in so much more of a distance. But yeah, those things are interesting to just see like, oh, some of you guys aren't sports people.
Which I feel like at this point in the game, you should be, or should be trying to be. And I understand that like not everyone's going to be good at everything, but maybe there is too much specializing going on at the top level in CrossFit these days, where it's like, oh, all right, this is going to be his event because it's got the weightlifting in it. It's like, no, he should be good at the running too. he should have gotten a running coach at the end of last year's season and been working hard on this. And you can become a better runner if you work on it, like, and running is one of those things where it's like, to me, it should be at the top, near top of the list, that these guys are good, efficient runners to, at the very least, not bleed energy in any one given workout or lose precious seconds. So it's amazing how it hasn't come to that. And that was one of the big things that Matt Frazier did, not to toot his horn again, but he went all in on, like, I need to get better at running, because he's not like a tall guy or a lanky guy, or he's still a short, stocky guy. I think maybe he's a little bit bigger than Colton Mertens, like in height wise, but like he needed to work on his running, and he did, and it paid off.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Similar to the bike, I think just learning how a sport works also. Because again, like, if we're saying CrossFit is all of these things, like a basic knowledge of all these things, whether it's like, if we're cycling in a group, it'll be good for me to get in a group of 3 or whatever, so that I'm not, getting hit by the wind directly the entire time. Or if I'm running in a circle, I need to find the closest kind of way to get through, so I'm not adding meters to my run or things like that.
And learning how to pass.
So that's interesting.
Learning how to read the competitors in front of you and the course and what's going on with the course in terms of like turns or hills or anything. And then in this situation, if I had to pass, how do I do it? And that might even involve, like, how do I move that person out of the way? Like competitive runners have all kinds of tricks. Like you get an elbow, you get a thing, that.
Or controlling a race where you're like, I can make everyone, this is the final, this is the last heat, I know what all the other times are, I don't have to hit my best run this time. If I force myself in front and I slow down in front of all my competitors, either they have to go around me, or we're all going to be running my pace, and then when I'm ready and I saved up my energy, now I'm going to go off. And we see
I think Amy Kringle did that. During the sprint. And that's the thing that like what you just said, like, if you slow down and they all slow down at like behind you, but like, that's like, they're all missing this athlete IQ thing on they should read that you've just manipulated the field. They should know what's happening. And I think sometimes, because of the way that they train with, like, all right, I got 7 workouts, let me pace this one. They're so open to adjusting their pace to whatever the easiest longevity thing is, instead of going for the killer instinct part. I'm like, I see your plan, and I'm going to step on your heel, or here's an elbow to the rib, and I'm going to pass you, or something like that. Or some other way that like I remember 2 years ago when people were saying that Jeff Adler was yelling things to Roman Krenikov in Russian, and it was affecting him psychologically. Good. That's so awesome. Do that, Jeff Adler. It doesn't say anything in the rules that you can't yell things at your competitors. And if Roman gets thrown off on it, he's soft. He needs to be able to overcome that and realize in the moment, oh, I'm not playing your game, and just ignore you. But he didn't, and he clearly affected him during that. And it's like, man, like they need to start going into stuff like that. Like you said, understanding how a sport works and recognizing those moments where someone is manipulating the field, and don't let them, or try to at least allow it to happen to everyone else, but not you. You know what's happening, and you're just now gearing up to like do checkmate. Like, okay, you thought you had me because you got everyone else, but I was on to you. Now here's where I'm going to try to surpass you. They don't have that yet.
No.
But maybe eventually. And then we just wow, they have a lot of events. They have all the events up for the weekend, or up to 19. Wow. Interesting. So, I'm just looking on the events page. They had the pig GHD wall ball shots. What do you think about that?
I was watching them.
A little too gimmicky. I agree. I
I think
understand it's a play on the one where they did the max wall ball throw from the GHD,
right.
but I don't know if it works here.
The angle, like, because you're going forward, but you do have to stop in order to it up. But then I don't like, it seemed like, because I was watching, especially with the teams, it seemed like it was hitting and then it's coming down straight at your knees because of where and I didn't like, I feel like you're already in a vulnerable position on the GHD. And then to have that wall ball just repeatedly also land on your legs, I didn't really like it.
Yeah, and I don't know if for 15, 20, 25 reps, this is all we're going to see the GHD in. Not that it's the end all be all of exercises. It's just I don't know. It's just weird that that's its hurrah for the 20th game. You know what I mean?
Like, I think you keep the wall ball and you just do the standard where they have to touch the wall with the ball, and maybe you add a couple more reps each time.
Make it I would make it heavy. Like have it start off at 30, but then it's like, here's the debut of the 40, here's the debut of the 50. Good luck, and look, they're all. And then you could do a little high rocks jab on, like, look, even with the 50-pound ball, Colton's squatting below parallel and hitting the target. He's got a 30-pound ball, or 30-pound heavier ball than what they're doing there. So I don't know. It just seems like, I wonder, do you think this is because wall balls are kind of such a problem now on, like, these people can do them for days. How are you really going to challenge some of these people with a 20-pound 14 ball? With the women, you can give them a 20-pound ball and increase the target height. For the men, you can increase the target height. But what outside of adding a gazillion reps, what can we do with this anymore? Like, and I wonder if that's where they came with it. But then again, the rest of the triple unders, then the pig flip, it's a interesting workout. I don't know if it's my favorite one.
I think this is a try it out at the games. But I don't see it having any other value.
No.
Just because, like, it's not even smooth. Like, you have to come up and then almost stop your movement pattern in order to get it up. Like, if there was a way that you could angle it so that they could just go straight, maybe.
Oh, like a special GHD that's like tilted?
Yeah, like something, because it just didn't seem, it seemed like two separate things. And some people were a little bit smoother, but again, like, you couldn't just use that forward momentum to then do the shot. Like, you had to stop that and then go up.
Yeah. Like, I remember when the pig debuted, I believe it was pig flips and fat rope climbs. And that would be cool to see too. Like, we had regular rope climbs come up earlier. I don't know what type of rope it was, so it could have been a fat rope or something for one of them. But, like, seeing some variety there would be cool if we could. They didn't do double unders or crossovers, but they did triple unders, and that threw a lot of people through a loop. I saw there were a lot of people that didn't finish because of that. But also they had ankle injuries too by that point. So,
but also Amy Kringle did all of her triple unders unbroken.
Yikes. She might win this
which
thing.
Is insane.
Yeah. All right. At this point, I don't know what event's going on right now. It might be the 2020 Speed Snatch. That's the next event after that one.
Next. Yeah.
So she's in the lead. Has the rest of the field just kind of resigned that, like, oh, Amy wins this year? I don't know what the gap is between them.
Seems like. I mean, there was a chance. Again, because there's so many events. Like, I've seen the year that Laura Horvath won, she won basically on Sunday. Like, she just won pretty much every event on Sunday. Yeah. But I think the way that it is now, right, it's like she's too far gone. And then also her winning 2 events in a row today doesn't help at all, especially because it's like the person that was in second, Lucy Campbell, has like issues with her wrist, which we know. So it's like there are certain things that she's just not gonna catch up on.
Oh my God, I don't want to hear the analysis after this games after she wins. Well, half the field had an ankle thing, half the field. That's part of the competition. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Like she won.
I don't.
She
I
beat
don't think
everybody.
it will. Only because
I hope so.
they won't say this on the CrossFit broadcast, but if you watch World Fitness Project, you would understand that Amy Kringle could easily come here and dominate them the way that they could. I honestly think that the only peer, I guess you could say, that Amy Kringle currently has in CrossFit is Laura Horvath, which in World Fitness Project, like they're essentially trading wins every weekend that they compete. And I think James Sprague also is like winning World Fitness Project currently. And I think now that we see athletes, yeah, it's like you can kind of predict a little bit better.
Up to this point, 14 events in, we've just mentioned what they all are. If Tia Claire Toomey is here, do you think anything changes? Is she in the lead right now?
It's hard to say, I guess. I don't know. I think that she is in the top 5 currently, but also I would even say last year, you could see that there were some things that like would trip her up. I think she would be comfortable still.
Many events works against her too.
Yeah.
Especially the 50-point events where people can like steal 50 here, steal 50 there. You know, I almost think that works against her.
Yeah. I don't know if it changes the overall outcome of like her winning at the end, but I think it's a closer year for sure. I don't know if she's running away with it the way that Amy Kringle is currently, only because I think like those other scores would change things a little bit. Like I think Amy is currently Tia in the way that like people are seeing her and going like, man, she's crushing it. I'm going for second place. Like we said, like that CrossFit kind of mentality, I think that people get where they're like, I'm going for second place. And I think whoever's that far ahead, but it's crazy because the men's side, and I think it's because they're all kind of from like a same generation men's side of like, we're just going to trash talk each other because we're the online gamer like generation. So all the men are close because they'll trash talk in the middle of events if they need to. And they're like,
yeah, I like that.
All right, you got me on that one, but I'm going to get you next time.
Ricky Garrard during the run, the trail run, threw like a hat or a towel at James Sprague.
The towel, yeah.
And then James flipped him off, you know, and then everyone's like upset with James about that he flipped him off. I'm like, give him a break. Like guy can't flip off.
And that's a part of banter. That's like the sports banter. Again, I think there's a disconnect between CrossFitters and like high school athletes.
Yeah.
Like I think if you're more in tune with that sort of thing, like you realize that's a regular thing. And again, I think the age of the current men's field is exactly that age of like, we're trash talking. We're probably like gonna like shove each other like jokingly, but like all around because
So some of the comments I saw, it's like people use that as like an excuse to attack James's faith. And it's like, that has nothing to do with it, that he's an athlete and a human being as well.
Right.
You know, like just because you have faith and you're a Christian or you follow any other type of religion doesn't mean you're not a human being that has human emotions. And a lot of the cruxes of the religions is that you are not perfect and you're going to make mistakes, you know, like only the one you worship is perfect. So like, but it's like these people in the comments are like, oh, he made middle finger, not very Christian like of him. It's like, actually it is, you know, I'm sure I wouldn't be surprised if he apologizes for it later or something like that, or praise about it. Like when when he no doubt prays about it, he'll probably talk to God about it and be like, I shouldn't have done that. But in the heat, you know how I am in the heat of the moment, he threw a towel at me. It's almost like a kid complaining to their father and rationalizing things. Like, he hit me first, that's how it is,
And it's like, I think the overall thing is intentionality of like, again, I feel like it's sports banter.
Yeah.
Like, it's different than like, I mean, you see like World Cup stuff and it's like they get a little bit too, with the way that they speak to each other. I feel like it's a little bit too, ugh. But
yeah,
like overall, like on the football field where it's like, oh, a guy just tackled me, but I just broke off for 20 yards and then he tackled me. I'm telling him that like their team can't do anything to me. Like, I'm crushing them. Like, we're talking, and it's like we're jawing back and forth. You actually see it a lot in basketball where like refs will try to come in and they're like, hey, we're fine. We're not fighting. We're just doing sports stuff.
Yeah.
Where it's like, that was a foul. And I go, that wasn't a foul. And the refs are like, whoa, whoa. And you're like, that's fine. You can do that. That's sports.
Yeah. And it's probably a lot of people that like complain about that stuff. It's like, you never played sports, so you don't know that, and it might be the only sport you do play is you do CrossFit local competitions, and no one's gonna like, unless you're bros, like each other, and it's like you and Mike's team versus Chris and Schaaf's team. No one's talking trash like that to like a team they don't know, from the gym across town, maybe, so we do have the snatch speed ladder coming up next. Then we've got thrusters and echo bike along with yoke carries coming up later tonight. And then Sunday, 3 events Sunday, we've got a machine workout of rowing and skierg. Then we've got the roll to support AMRAP of forward rolls and backward rolls. And then workout number 20 has not been listed yet. What do you think the finale is going to be? Is it more lunging across? Like, is it the classic walking lunge combo, or they beef up Fibonacci? What do you think's happening here?
What I hope is that they don't know yet. Like, I hope that they have options and they're doing it depending on how the field is looking.
Yeah.
Like, almost like a hopper style, where it's like, okay, we know basically these movements, but we don't know how we're going to, because we don't know what the race looks like. Because, I mean, like, you can do they probably will do the whole lead up. But again, like, if Amy Kringle's ahead by 200 points in the last event, then, what are we worried about a race for? I don't know. I hope that they have options and that they're just going like, well, let's see how they do at the end of today, or let's see how they do after that first event on Sunday, and then we'll decide how it is. I think it would be fun.
Yeah. It'd be very interesting. I wonder if because a lot of inspiration has come from past games for a lot of these workouts. You can just see it. I wonder if maybe they would revisit like the finale of, it was either 2012 or 2013, one of the two maybe, where they did all the girls or multiple girls in a row on kind of like a tying in the methodology and training. So I wonder if they'll do that, or like beefed up girls. Like, all right, this is like damn heavy Diane, with deficit handstand push-ups and stuff. And we're going to do, the chest to bar Fran that they did from the online that one time, which is like, yeah, that is a great workout. Kind of a shame that we had to burn it on the online qualifier type thing. And that's the only time it ever appeared. So I wonder if they'll do something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, of course, once you're done with all the girls, you have to do overhead lunge to the cross finish line.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. Well, yeah, I like it so far. I think it's a fun games. Really, the only jarring thing for me is just that event 14 with the GHD wall balls type thing, and just the implementation of the GHD and what they're maybe thinking they have to do with wall balls now. But everything else is fine. Like, I'm okay with the machine 7,200 meter thing on the row and the skierg. The support AMRAP is interesting. And really, that's a short one. It's a 5-minute AMRAP. So I wonder.
Yeah, because they know that some people are going to get maybe one.
Yeah. Did you happen to watch the video of Glassman coaching a guy through the backward roll to support?
Yeah. Yep.
That's that was really interesting. And that's, boy, like you see that video, I'm like, why don't we have like 100 of these? Like, and it doesn't have to be just him, but like, let's do more of that. Like that was like the best content ever. Just like, it was just raw. It's like, yeah, just watch a coach talking to an athlete working through it. And like, not even like a scripted progression. All right, we're going to do this drill. It's just like more just raw coaching. It's like, it's,
yeah,
you know, I
think it exists. Like, I even think of, I remember one time we were walking through that like back section where the, whatever courts those are, the glass ones. And anyway, but yeah. And Lou was talking about, and Lou was talking about how like, oh yeah, one day we told, or like maybe he was taught how to do a backflip. And he was like, yeah, like literally we just spent like an hour, 2 hours, and like, yeah, people are just coaching me through it. I feel like those videos kind of exist on YouTube, but like it was maybe too early, like ahead of its time, where like I think there could be an archive out there of like videos like that, of like somebody just coaching someone through like early CrossFit. Like, oh yeah, you want to learn how to do this? That's what we'll do today. But it's like probably hard to find. Like you probably couldn't just search up a movement and then find those, unfortunately.
It's just, when I see stuff like that, I mean, it's just the landscape on coaching and programming or lesson planning a class has changed so much. And sometimes I just wonder if like everything is just too much into the weeds. Like, all right, you need a progression for every movement. It's like, well, how about like we just do the thing, you know, like,
right.
Like I even like the other day I was teaching the snatches and I took class through progression. And I'm like, I wonder how it would have been if I just went right from the start position and we just did that thing. And then I just clean it up as we go. Like, all right, now on this next one, do this. Now that, like, instead of having all the little steps, you know, and sometimes it just seems like I wonder if we have so many things like this now because there are so many coaches and so many inexperienced coaches, and they're the ones that need that. They need the middle progression pieces because they need to know to look for your elbow on the pull and what's going on there because they can't see it yet and can't coach it from the full movement.
Yeah.
But now it's trickled out into being the standard. And as opposed to like, no, we're just going to work on a snatch day. Here's what it looks like. All right, you try. All right, now on this next one, do this. Now on this next one, do that. And then you just slowly put it together instead of like, even like a dumbbell snatch. Like, all right, we got to do a deadlift first, then a deadlift shrug, then a deadlift high pull, then the muscle snatch, then the drop under it. And it's like, what if we just went straight for the full thing? Who, like, is the progression there to help the athlete, or is it to help the novice coach help the novice athlete? I don't know. Because Glassman didn't use a progression at this last thing. He just threw things in as they needed it, you know. And he's like, all right, well, let me see where you're at. Try it. And so it was inspiring for me to see that. I was like, yeah, there was a point where this is kind of how we did it. And there were maybe a couple other steps, but that was kind of how we used to do it. And by golly, it used to work. So I don't know. It was just surreal to see that because things have changed so much, you know. Also with like lesson planning, it's like there was a time you had a plan for your class, but now it seems to have gotten too crazy. Like, why do you have a piece of paper filled in from every margin? And like, are you just getting too in the weeds, too nerdy with it for the sake of it? Are you using half of that? I don't know. I question a lot of what we're doing now. We've had discussions like this before, but what do you think about that?
Yeah. And I mean, it's even, I think both have value, but yeah, you're right in like getting too much into the weeds sometimes. And even as I've been doing these newer skills and things like that, a lot of it is like, okay, let me see you first. Like, again, if we're saying like these movements are functional and all these things, and you shouldn't just get hurt off of immediately doing them. Like, let me see where you're at, and then we will work on that. And I mean, like,
Yeah.
there's the deadlift where that's a good example of like, yeah, sometimes it's just grab the bar, start going, and then I can see through the full movement pieces that we need to work on, instead of like, all right, let me see you do this first and then do this first. Well, now let's go the other way and let's do this and do this. How does it look in the full movement? And then what do we need to do from there?
Yeah, and knowing your athlete, like, I mean, there's a difference between working in a group and working one-on-one. But if I'm teaching you the deadlift, if I know you excel at this part of the deadlift, but you struggle with that part of the deadlift, why am I spending time on a drill where it's like, all right, let's do the thing you're good at. All right, now we're going to focus on the heels when you never have an issue with your heels.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, it's very interesting to kind of think about. And I wonder if some of it comes from 2020 beyond. CrossFit has definitely had a big push, rightfully so, to try to make coaching a professional thing, like professional coaching. And if one of the things they feel they need to have is like, well, look at this plan. No one else does this. Look at all my steps. Look at all the stuff I know on this piece of paper, and then I can implement that. But then you watch Glassman coach it that way, and in 10 minutes, he's got the guy essentially doing the movement. I don't know. And also people sometimes, I've heard people say that he wasn't that good of a coach. And I'm like, I don't know. That was pretty darn good. I wish I had more videos of him doing less lectures and more like that, working with an athlete. So it makes me wonder, like, what are you saying now why he wasn't a good coach? I don't know. It doesn't make sense now, because he was obviously leading those classes and getting people muscle ups before people were getting people muscle ups. So is it just because if you were to watch a class now in context of what is said to be the standard, he's not doing it the way, like with like, he's got a 6-step progression and he's doing the tell, show, do, check. And like, it's like, have we made this more complicated than it should be because we wanted to present it as a professional thing when we were already professionals to begin with, getting results? I don't know. And now, but now there's also the barrier to entry is low to get in. So we have hundreds of people that we want to say are professional coaches, and we need to figure out a way, like, you're coming in with no experience, no wisdom, no background, no years under your belt, no athletes. So you do need, it's a whole crazy thing to think about, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I think maybe you definitely, okay, if you're a new coach, start off with all that. But I don't think that like you need to keep it all over time. I think you can start to like whittle away, and you just know the movement's so good and you're just so crazy comfortable. And like, you watch someone do a snatch and you're like, okay, on this next one, here's what you got to do. And you know that in order to get them to do Y, you have to get them to pull slower on X or whatever, like you know that the problem isn't their elbows, it's how they start or whatever it may be. But that comes with time. So right now you need the 7-step progression because it's helping both of you, but eventually you don't need it because you can help them with the 2-step progression or just the movement.
Yeah. And I mean, even going back to that video, I mean, that's a Glassman thing. I would even say it, like gymnastics. Like maybe that was his, like, I'm super comfortable with this. I like it almost like you see it sometimes where you're like, I could teach someone how to do that in no time. And it was maybe even like a challenge or like, oh, you want to do that? How much time you got? I could probably teach you that in this amount of time. And that confidence too of like, eventually, I guess the goal is to get there with every movement of like, I know this so deeply that based on me seeing you do it the first 2 times, I can tell you exactly what we need to work on to get you to get the full thing.
Yeah. Look at like an air squat as an example. I could teach the air squat with like tell, show, do, check method. Like, okay, we're going to get our start position set. And now here's what it looks like. On this first rep, I want you to focus on pushing your hips back. That's how we engage the squat. And then on the second one, we're going to focus on pushing the knees out. And then we're layering in the points of performance. And it sounds and looks very professional, and we're going to fill a lot of time. We're going to do a lot of reps. But I could also be like, all right, here's what it looks like. Let me see you do it. Okay, well, now on this next one, if I just want them to get lower, I'm going to have you adjust your feet. Or I just approach it a slightly different way that isn't as polished, but it also is polished. But it's, I don't know. It's like, I feel like you could do it both ways and they're both right. But maybe we're saying too much. Only one of those ways is right or correct now.
Yeah.
Interesting. So yeah, I'd like to find more videos like that. That was whoever turned that camera on. Thank you for doing that and putting that out there. So yeah, that's the games. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Predictions. I think I really don't know. I don't know if she's beatable now. Amy Kringle for the women. I don't know. What do you think? Is there a contender?
Again, it's like event 15 is going on right now. There's still a good amount of points up for grabs. I mean, I think she's got it just in the way that she's been looking. I think at the very least, it's like more top 10-ish finishes for majority of the workouts. I mean, she can take a 30 in at least one of these and still be good.
She's got 967 points. Emma Lawson's in second place with 848 at this point.
Yeah. So she's got room. But I do think seeing who the top 5 are at the end of the weekend will be very interesting. Because there's some things coming up that I think some people might get stuck on. And there's some people that I'm a little bit surprised in their current position that I think can still climb. So
I'm seeing for the men, James Sprague is in first place.
Yeah.
870. Second place is Jay Crouch with 836. And he's actually tied with Justin Medeiros, who's listed as third. Dallin Pepper at 821. Ricky Gerard, 770 in fifth place. And then Jason Hopper, last year's champ, 699. If James wins this, I think it does a lot for James, being like a repeat champion. Like he didn't win it last year, but also there was a lot of criticism on last year's games on just being so machine heavy, which obviously would maybe favor someone like Jason Hopper. So, yeah. Boy, Justin Medeiros.
I would say that he's probably the most disrespected champ.
James?
I feel like his year is like almost the forgotten year. Like Justin won twice, so you always have to say like, all right, he won twice.
Yeah.
Jeff Adler, I think people just respect him in the way that they're like, he seems solid, even though he's not up there right now. I think people like take his as like a good win.
He's 8th.
And then I feel like James is the forgotten champ almost.
Well, it kind of gets overshadowed because of the tragedy. That'll, I think, always be the case. And then it's like, okay, people dropping out, people's emotions. Would he really have won if the tragedy didn't happen? So I think for him individually, like if he wins this year, boy, does that knock something off your shoulders. It's like, all right, like I came through that year. I won it. People always want to put an asterisk next to my name, but then coming back and winning the 20th one with 20 events with like the quote hardest first day ever and stuff. I think he's undeniable at that point. And I think that it almost, does it backtrack validate 2024 for him?
Yeah.
Yeah. I almost hope he wins it because of all that.
But Justin has been doing exactly what he did when he won, which is just getting very consistent top 10, top 5 finishes. And Yeah, if he can do that, because it's so tight up at the very top, if he can continue to do that, he might have a chance of just quietly winning on like the last event.
Yeah. And you know what? I won't be unhappy if that happens. I've been every year I say Justin's coming back. And I've also said Justin needs more respect. People talk way too much trash about this dude that's won twice. Like you can't win twice and then as an athlete just have a couple off you. You're acting like it's 10 years he's been bad. It's been 2 years. Come on. Like that's 2 seasons, like 2 competitions. And the competitions have also changed wildly year to year. Like he won 2022. I might be all right. It might be 3 years. Did he win 2021
and 22? I think.
All right, 21 and 22. Then 23, he lost that one. Which you can't. Maybe he's not winning 3 in a row. Then 2024, tragedy year, different year for everybody. Then 2025, machine year and other stuff. So now we're kind of back to like a CrossFit Games that's similar to when he actually won, I think. Maybe. I don't know. I might be off on that a little bit.
Yeah, there's a chance.
So, I'm not opposed to it. The only thing that would make me happier if Ricky starts getting more points and then we could have all 3 of them on the podium. I really don't know a whole lot about Jay Crouch, to be honest.
He's just very consistent.
Yeah.
He's more of like I would say he's more of an endurance Ricky. Like Ricky's very power. And I would say that he's just very consistent and like he can move well and he's very good at basic CrossFit, I would say.
Yeah.
Like that first event is a perfect example of like it's lighter, but he's just moving it really well, really consistently, and he's good on the bar. He's like a good CrossFitter, I would say.
What a good thing for CrossFit too, to have these guys 20 years later redo the year 1 games and to see the score comparisons and stuff.
Yeah.
That's something I don't think anyone's put it out yet, but I would like to see that of like all the names and the first place finishers and then how this year's last place finisher would have beaten this place finisher from year 1. I would like to see that stuff. That's cool. And that's a part of CrossFit. Like it was so important almost that they did this because CrossFit, measurable, observable, repeatable, we're all about the data and be able to see that. So that's very cool. And then you got Pat Vellner out there on his last hurrah. Stone throw away from the top 10. He's 13th right now.
Yeah. And I mean, he's still got the ability to win multiple events, which is really cool.
Yeah. I hope he continues to do well. Saxon Panchik is right there with him. Where's Colt Mertens? 12th. Okay. And Guy is in 11th. If Guy gets in the top 10, does he get a little more respect than people give him? I feel like people disrespect Guy.
Genuinely, I do think that he should be better.
Okay.
Like he came in last place for the trail run. That seems odd.
Interesting.
Like he's not heavy enough to be coming in last place in an event like that.
You would think Colton maybe, because again, just short guy running. Short, heavy.
Or even like, I don't know. He also, I think with so many events, it's odd because he's been winning a lot of heats, but Guy was in the second heat for a lot of them. So he's winning these heats and then maybe he gets beat in the next heat because it's the final. And it's like, does he do better if he puts himself in a better position initially? Because now he's in that final heat. If he wins the final heat, he knows exactly what times to go for.
And if he wins,
so sometimes it's like, So I don't know. Maybe I think the thing with Guy is like, be a better competitor, I think is his thing. Yeah. He's got the skill, but I think competition-wise, he kind of lapses.
Who's his coach or who's his team? Like, is he on one of the Provens? Or
I'm pretty sure he's Mayhem.
Oh, he's Mayhem? Okay.
Yeah, he lived in Cookeville for a long time, I think.
Does it seem like with the teams, just on the outside looking in, that like, all right, Proven, they got it locked in. This other team, they got trained think tank, they got locked in. Mayhem, it's like, it's almost like Rocky rules. If he dies, he dies. Like you, like you're on a team, but you're kind of on your own a little. Like, does it seem like that a little bit?
It kind of does.
I might be explaining it or describing it.
No, that makes sense. Of like, hey, this is your personal responsibility if you want to train with everyone. But it does seem like they're a little bit separate now. Like everyone within Mayhem might have their own coach. Like, I'm pretty sure Paige Rogers gets coached by Angelo DeChico, who's on one of the teams. So I think now they have like a big enough base where like people are getting coached by their own. Because I think early on, like, all right, some of you can come to the ranch, some of you can't. Like, I think it was like, all right, I don't know.
Because like that's been the thing with Roman forever. It's like he was like, boy, he should have been champ one year. Like I know the whole foot thing happened one year, but like he's kind of fallen off and like never gotten that momentum back. But it's like the way when I hear them talk or like you see people interact, it's like, how close are you guys? Like, is he just a big guy in the corner and like Rich is like gives him the nod? All right, you're here, or like, but also there's the language barrier and like how receptive is he, or what's the style of coaching? Like, I don't know. Like, it kind of isn't it weird?
I think ideally, no games athlete is currently getting coached by Rich Froning. I don't think it's. I would say their best chance is to get the coaches that they have, because again, I think they have enough coaches now that they can get, someone who's like more direct in like, for you, this is what you should be working on.
Yeah. But you have that name behind you and the resources. And every now and then you work out with them and you're like, well, this is cool. Like something like that.
Right.
So, yeah, it just seems to be a hole there that I don't understand. Like, he should be better. He should be up there fighting for the top thing. And the way people talked about him, like he was the next coming,
right.
And it just kind of hasn't, even with the variety of the years, like, all right, machine year. Oh, he should be really good at that. He should be crushing it. Like, so it's just odd, and it just kind of seems like, I don't know, like, it seems like he's alone. Like, he just, like, I don't know, like, it never has really felt like on the outside looking in, like he has a support system. It just seems like he's just an island. Everything
I don't know.
see.
I haven't been too tapped into Mayhem these days, honestly, as like I was back in the day.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. Any other thoughts on the games overall?
No. Yeah, like you said, I mean, I think it's been an interesting year so far. I would say that I have enjoyed it so far.
Yep, I'd like to see more of it. I'll try to see more of it.
Yeah.
And eventually I'll watch more of the 2025 games. It's just hasn't happened yet. I need to. I want to. I was there for some of it. I was here. I saw those people. I shook their hands. And then I just haven't gotten around to it. But all right, last little topic here. We don't have to spend too much time on it. But I accomplished some big goals recently. I did my UltraTrax 7-mile hike at Gore Mountain in North Creek, New York this past Sunday. It took me 6 hours, 13 minutes, and 33 seconds, which was longer than I thought it was going to be. My projection time was like 3.5 hours. I will say wow. So we added some time. I did stop a lot. I was just out there taking pictures, honestly. Like once I got out there, I was like, why am I in a rush? Like, I was like, let me just take my time. Like, I'm not going to kill myself with this. I just want to finish. So I was like, let me enjoy it. Let me look at that tree. Let me look at that rock. I found a really big rock that I spent time with. And people are like going by me and I'm just there like looking at the rock. I'm like, yeah, this is great. I did decide I brought my headphones and then I never put them on because I was like that was like pre-race James, just stuffing stuff in my bag.
Right.
But then I was like, how dumb would this be to listen to the same music and a podcast? Like, I should just be out here with my thoughts and with myself. Let me spend time with James today and like hear the mountain and everything. And so that was nice. And then also it left me open to talk to people too. And the most talking I did with people was like, I did come across some people where I was like, are you okay? Because there were a lot of people out there that I'm not like a hiker person or anything at all. But then there were people out there. I'm like, are you like, have you walked? Like, have you work out at all or anything?
Yeah.
So I did find some people that I asked if they needed help or anything like that. And then people would pass me. So it was good to be able to hear like on your left, on your right, passing now. I only had one person make I had several interesting comments made to me as well. Going up the first hill, one guy was like, oh my gosh, like this hill. And I guess he was going through the course multiple times. So doing one loop was 7 miles. There were people out there doing 28 miles or 21 miles, 14 miles. So they're going to go through the course, which I can't imagine that. After doing it once, I'm like, I don't want to have to go through that part of it again or this, but they're on a whole nother level. And he's like, oh yeah, this hill's tough, but there's worse ones coming up. And then he like trekked off. And I'm like, well, thank you for that. Like, it was nice to know that there's worse hills coming up. And then the next people I found, there was a lot of rocks, which the rocks were hard for me because I was wearing my Vivo Barefoots. So my really thin, wide shoes.
Yeah.
I wore those because one, James McDermott did not want to spend money on a special pair of hiking shoes that may or may not have worked out or hurt my feet because I have a lot of feet issues for this one time. So I'm like, whatever shoes I got, I'm going to find the best ones for that. So I just wore my Vivo Barefoots. Had I worn my Rads, I would have rolled my ankles a million times. The Rads would not have worked out. Oh my God. Being flat and stable was the only way. But you feel everything. So going on the rocks, and my feet are sensitive already, I just felt every little rock. So that was a hard part. Every root of trees, the pictures I have, you have to really zoom in. Some of them, it's just like a spider's web of roots. And if you don't have cushy shoes, I would see people just walking over all that. And I'm like tiptoeing through it because I'm like, this is crazy. And every now and then I'll hit a branch or a rock. And if my foot does this, not only does my foot turn, my knee and hip would go with it too, because I still have a lot of tough joint things going on. And the stability is just not there to support that. So the next day, my left hip was super sore, but that was it. My arms were sore from the trekking poles, but that was it. So the rocks were tough. So that was one thing. Another couple that were doing the more loops, which they laughed at me at one point. They found me again later on in the course, and they're like, "Oh, hello again," and I'm like, "Damn it, I got laughed by some people." But they were like, "Oh, it gets better," because they found me on the rocks, and they're like, "Oh no, there's flatter, smoother trails eventually," which no, there weren't really. It was just soft. When you get into the forest, you might not be on the floor. You're just on everything that's built up, and it's a soft bed. So boy, my joints were challenged by so many different terrains in that. The hardest terrain though was the man-made terrains where they had the ski lifts or the ski lifts. So it would be flattened and hard. Those were actually the hardest, most painful parts to go through because it was hard and flat with no give, and then it would just be rolling like this.
Right.
So those are the hardest ones for me to get through. If I didn't have trekking poles, I honestly don't know if I finish, or it takes me the full 10 hours to do, to be honest, because I'd be having to hold on to everything. So thank God I had the trekking poles. And the third comment that was given to me, which was the oddest one, because I'm in those shoes, there were a couple wet spots, and I managed to navigate all the wet spots without having to have wet feet for the entire rest of the thing. I would let people go by, and I would look to see where they would step and to find the dry spots, and I would just follow their footprints. And there was one point where there was a log. So I had my trekking poles there, and I'm shimmying sideways on the log. And there's pools on, I have to stay on this log. I can't trip off it, or I'm going right ankle deep in the puddle. And this guy, he eventually comes up behind me. I'm almost through it. And I guess he got impatient that I was taking so long that he's like, sometimes it's okay to just give up. And I'm like, what a weird comment, whatnot.
Yeah.
So I stabbed him a couple times and threw him in the bush. No, I'm kidding.
Mhm.
But that's what popped up into my mind. I'm like, that's how you get stabbed, dude. Like, cause like right now, I'm like, just take my trekking pole and be like, you don't need to be an asshole about it. But so that was the oddest comment. But so yeah, it was interesting, fun thing. Enjoy nature. Don't know if I'll ever do it again. The absolute hardest thing for me, though, which took forever, was coming back down the mountain. Like I was really happy with my fitness and everything on the incline going up. Like I was just horsing through them. Like I would find people just paused at points, and I'm like, if I stop, it'll be harder to start again. So I just don't stop on those things. I just horse right through it. I got my poles, we're just going. And so I was very happy with that. My fitness held up on that. Didn't get too winded. Yeah, we're sweating a lot, but going downhill is my absolute hardest thing. Not only because of those shoes did make it incredibly hard to go downhill with rocks and everything, but also just it's my hardest thing. Like going down the stairs is still really, really hard.
Right.
So for my feet and my joints, that is the absolute hardest thing. So it took mile 5 to mile 7 to the finish. Took forever. Took literally forever. And I had to pee the whole time because I got to the rest station at mile 5 and I could feel the pee. And I'm like, well, I don't want to, like, I'm just going to keep going. So I just had to, and then it took forever. I'm like, well, I'm not going to pee out here. Because even though I was alone for the majority of it, like, because I'm going so slow, people would pass me and then I wouldn't see people for a while. But I'm like, this would be the point where someone would come up. They'd find me now when I'm trying to pee. So I just held it in.
Right.
So good experience. I don't know if I would do another one, but it was a great way to get, it was the most steps I've taken in my whole steps journey. For that day, it was 35,017 steps.
Wow.
Which was the most, the next biggest day is like 24,000, like around States or something. You know? So that was fun.
Yeah. Congrats. That's not an easy thing at all. Yeah. And like the timing wise, like anything I think with trails, you honestly gotta like double your time.
Yeah.
Like the mileage of it it's not the same at all. Like that's why like hiking, people are like, yeah, it's just 3 miles. And you're like, that could be 5 hours. Like you really don't know, depending on what it looks like. So yeah.
And being with just my mind, I was thinking too, like, oh, like, because when you're not out there, you do start to get disconnected with nature. And it was just like, oh, this, I understand. Like, if the course wasn't marked, I see how people go in a circle perpetually when they're lost in the woods, and they die in they never make any progress because you keep making the same turn, you know. And there was only one part where I made a wrong turn because it was like a horseshoe, and it looked like it connected, and I went to the left and it didn't connect. It was like a creek there. And then I went to the right and there was a way to go, but it was like a little chasm where the creek was. And you could see where the sediment and the dirt was coming down from people jumping. And the lady that went before me mistimed it and jumped too early. And then she slipped down into the water. And I'm like, shit, this is like, because jumping is also one of my harder things these days. And I'm like, here we go. And I took a picture of it. Like, I'm going to post it soon. But it just looks like a floor of dirt and dark. And like, I have a picture of that because I'm like, I conquered that jump. I made through it. So I'm like, this is one of the times where I'm either going to be soaking wet or I'm going to get over it. And I made the jump. So I'm like, all right, good. We still got it. So fun experience. I didn't do anything special. Like I just had one water bottle that was leaking the whole time, which was annoying. I had Element. I did make the mistake of refilling my water bottle. I wish I didn't. I refilled it out of they have like the coolers there, but then it tasted like the cooler the whole time. And that made me like stop going back to get more water. So yeah, fun experience. Glad it's done.
Nice.
Great way to kind of cap off my well, not cap off my walking journey, but also I reached Mordor on
Nice.
Thursday. And actually it's funny. I reached Mordor as Haley's baby was getting born. Like when she listed the time, I'm like, that's when I hit my step goal to there.
Yeah.
So I'll never forget the Haley's baby's birthday, because it's also the same day that I accomplished my multi-year goal here on hitting that. So it's I needed 5 million or 5.09 steps to travel 1,350 miles from the Shire to Mordor, the gates of Mordor. And I did it on Thursday.
Yeah. Nice.
So
Awesome.
Multiple goals being accomplished. And I'm going to keep going. I'm going to finish out the year, because I like it'd be weird to stop now. So I'll finish out the year of 7K a day or more. And then I don't know yet what I'm going to do in 2027. I might just be like, let me just be free finally of wearing a pedometer every day.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the healthy thing to do, is just to let it go. But just keep the habits going. Like, it doesn't have to be a number now. It could just be like, yeah, I'm going to walk to work. I walk to work now. I walk after meals now. I'm not mad I have to go back down to my car to get something. It's just more exercise,
Yeah.
So overall, the whole reason I did that whole thing was to try to, along with doing the core workouts every day, is to reclaim my fitness post illness or during illness. And with the hiking thing was interesting. I thought my feet would be wrecked the next day, and they weren't. They actually felt really, really good. And as I was walking, I was thinking, every time my feet would do something weird, I was like, yeah, that's what you do. Like I want my feet to be feet and to get used to being feet. And I want my brain to learn this lesson of like, it's allowed to do that. And I want those tissues down there to receive that feedback and be like, I guess you better do something about it. Like, get stronger. It's almost like teaching your body those lessons. So every time I had a different surface, I was like, yep, that's what you're doing now. Like, and it's okay. And I'm telling myself it's okay too, because like my feet need to have the opportunity to be feet, and they don't get that if it's just around the parking lot, the gym, or whatever. Like, we needed this.
Yeah.
So overall, mission accomplished.
Nice.
Thank you. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I'll do it. I don't know if I'll do it. I'm keeping the hiking poles though, just in case.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. Do you have a pair of hiking poles?
I tried to order a pair before I went on a high peak, and then they got delayed in shipping, so I canceled the order. So no, I've never.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. The good to have. Glad I did it, and I got they collapse down to be small too. And I watched a couple videos when they came in on like, there's a lot of technique to use them.
Oh, yeah.
And boy, am I glad I watched those videos on like the right way to put the strap around your wrist. That way, if you fall, you don't break your wrist because you're strapped into it. There were so many times I would accidentally on the paw back let go, and it would just dangle there. I'm like, oh, and I just grab it again. And the correct way to hold them when you're going downhill versus uphill, and also having the knowledge to adjust the height of them versus when you're going uphill and downhill. Yep. So glad I didn't just free for all that. Like, cause like I was doing that. I was like, all right, it's time to go uphill. Let me adjust the height of this. Time to go downhill. Let me adjust the height of it. And also using the correct footing of it too, because it came with all these feats. And the one that I needed the most was just going to be the pinpoint one. And I would have just kept the other one on there, because honestly, when I took it off, it looks like it's supposed to have something on it now. So just learning about how to use the equipment, which I guess that's with anything, right? Like learn how to use the equipment. And I feel like a lot of people don't do that, So I just watched a couple of videos, and very, very helpful. So yeah. So happy to have done that. I think that's kind of been like my whole goal of like, all right, I did a weightlifting meet, did the open, did swim meet, went hiking now at an event. I don't know what my next sport will be. I'm just doing different stuff. I feel like you're kind of doing that a little bit now too.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's fun. So awesome. Any other thoughts on anything we've talked about?
No, not really.
Cool. Well, then next week is all right. Is there anything going on next week? I don't think so. Now we gotta check the calendar. Now it's nope. I think
we got Shatter Slam in 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Shatter Slam 2 weeks. So probably next week we'll talk more about the games because we'll know who won and what the finale was and stuff. And then we should do a little Shatter Slam preview because all the events are out for that now too. And then we'll be officially 2 weeks out from your event there. So cool. All right. Well, Miguel, thanks for your time today, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I will see you maybe not next week.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Where can people follow you, Miguel?
Gonna be Miguel on Instagram.
Cool. Follow me, James A. McDermott. Follow Albany CrossFit Barbell Club, Albany CrossFit. That's good for now. That's good for now. We'll end the stream.